Mike O'Mara, Radio Entertainment. You can listen to The Mike O'Mara Show at MikeO'MaraShow.com.
Let's get started.
It's The Mike O'Mara Show with Mike O'Mara, Oscar Santana, and Rob Spiewak. Now, here's Mike.
Oh, this is a treat. It gives me great pleasure to welcome back to The Mike O'Mara Show one of the greatest surprises of my life when they brought Duff out to our studios in Manassas, and a lot of things have changed since then. Please welcome the man himself. He's got a show premiering on Discovery Plus today. It's called Duff's Happy Fun Bake Time, produced by the Jim Henson Company for Discovery Plus. Duff Goldman, the ace of cakes, is here from the Charm City Bakery. Hi, Duff. How are
Mike. You? I'm doing great. How you doing?
It's great to have you on the show, and we're so excited. We're all big fans, and you were so nice to join us a few years back when you came by the studio. And now I want to talk about your new project, because you are going to be. What were you, a Pee-wee's Playhouse fan growing up? Where did this come from? That suddenly you're going to be surrounded by puppets? What the heck is going on?
One day I was in my apartment and I was baking. I was making a babka. And as I was baking, I was watching Sesame Street, because Sesame Street is a work of art, right? The way that Sesame Street just explains things, it's just beautiful. And I was watching and just loving it. And, I was making my babka, and I started thinking about how would Sesame Street explain babka? And then I just started thinking about how would baking and puppets work? And so I came up with this idea of I have this magical bakery that I can go anywhere, do anything. And I have this, a fun group of characters in the bakery that all kind of help me, bake stuff. Right. So we, come up with different things. We make a cake and I got to make it. And so, I had the idea was cool. I wrote a story for an episode. And the way I kind of thought about it was each episode would be a single ingredient, right? So one episode is eggs, one episode is chocolate, one episode is salt, and we really go into what these things are and why we need them in cooking and how they work. And so I wrote this whole episode, it's super silly. We don't have any eggs for our cake. And so we have to figure out, how do we get the eggs, for our friend's birthday. And so we go through the whole thing. We bake the cake without eggs, and we show people what happens. We take a microscope, we go deep inside the egg, and then I play an egg molecule, and I'm swimming around in a little tutu and stuff, explaining what's happening, you're chemically inside the egg. And it's super, super funny.
Wow. And it's going to be great. It's a family thing. It's going to be great for kids. I was thinking that, all right, being someone who I like to spend some time in the kitchen, but I am terrified of baking. So if you're making this presentation on, it sounds like we're going to a market in Hong Kong. Happy fun time, Duff's Happy Fun Bake Time.
They ran out of letters, Mike, before they could add super terrific.
I picture a cat with the hand going forward. Duff's Happy Fun Bake Time. If I'm an adult, because I'm not good at baking, and I know I don't know which prep I was reading about this show, where one of the biggest ingredients you talk about is patience. Having patience. That's I have no patience. I'm a stir fry guy. Will this show? Can I sit down with my 7-year-old and watch this? Will I get anything out of it as far as education, or is it specifically educating children? I mean, that's what I'm curious about.
Yeah, no, it is absolutely for everybody. And that was really important from day one. I was listen, there's some kid show, right? There's some stuff I love, right? I love Ice Age. Ratatouille is, I think, not only the greatest food cartoon ever made, I think it's the greatest food movie ever made.
That's
I think
great.
The way that Ratatouille captures flavor and kitchen culture, they nail it, absolutely nail it. So, I mean, there's a lot of great stuff. There's also a lot of kid stuff out there that when you hear it, you're just what am I listening to? Right? It's annoying. It's high pitched. It's squeaky. It's just it's the worst. I wanted something that everybody could like. And the science that we go into here, I mean, I think everybody finds it fascinating. When we're talking about different pasta noodle shapes and why the different shapes are for different kinds of sauces, everybody thinks that's fascinating, not just kids.
That's the answer I wanted.
Yeah. I mean, you're absolutely fine with that.
And Patton Oswalt, who was, we're having almost 6 degrees of separation with the Mike O'Meara show. Patton, who's been a frequent guest on our show, was
the voice,
the rat, the
Remy.
ferret,
Remy.
in Ratatouille,
Yeah.
right? He was Remy. He did that. Michael, come here. Michael.
Oh no!
I want you to meet Mr. Goldman. We watched you sent out a little blurb, a little promo, a little tease, and
it's great.
They're promoting the heck out of this. And I want you to say hi to my son, who is a very smart guy. Say hi to Mr. Goldman.
Hey, buddy.
Okay.
Hi, Mr. Goldman.
And tell him good luck on the show.
Good luck on the show.
If you could bake anything you'd want, if you could have, what's your favorite kind of cake? Take your time. We've only got him for 20 minutes.
Yes, we have a heart out, so please choose.
Chocolate cake.
Chocolate cake?
Chocolate cake?
Yeah, chocolate cake. All
So,
right,
Michael, did you know the best chocolate cakes are made with oil, not butter? And that's the cakes that are really moist and really delicious. They have oil in them. Butter is too solid at room temperature, where the oil is nice and liquid. And that's why when you have a good chocolate cake that's really, really moist, that's why it's so good. Also, the really, really good chocolate cakes have a tiny bit of coffee in them, because coffee makes the flavor of chocolate bigger, just like when you put salt on a beef, right? So like if you eat beef with no salt, it doesn't taste that good. It's just kind of like, yeah, it's a beef. You put salt on it, you're like, beefy, right? Coffee is the same way. Put a little bit of coffee in your chocolate. It doesn't taste like coffee at all. It just really tastes like chocolate. So there you go.
Wow.
Back to the day.
Literal saucer
do you have any
eyes.
question about anything baked? Do you like baked goods? Do you like cookies?
Yes.
Why don't you ask him what his favorite cookie is?
What's your favorite cookie?
I think my favorite cookie is my grandmother had a housekeeper that made these peanut butter cookies. And I have her recipe, but to this day, I just can't quite get them as good as hers. But I think peanut butter cookies are my favorite.
All right.
My favorite are chocolate chip.
Now, do you like your chocolate chip cookies fat and chewy or thin and crispy?
Thin and crispy.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I actually have a really good recipe for thin and crispy cookies that I'll send you. They're really good. And even your dad, who is a terrible baker, who has no patience whatsoever, I bet he'll be able to make them.
All right, buddy. Say bye-bye.
Bye, Mr. Goldman.
Good to meet you, Michael.
Hey, Duff, when you're trying to get that peanut butter cookie recipe right, have you tried putting coffee in it?
It doesn't work.
Oh, my God.
I have a question. I love the fact that you are doing the science of cooking, which fascinates me. Always have loved it. But whenever I'm trying to teach it to my kids who are now practically grown-ups, they're 18 and 20, it scares them away. What do you do to make it so appealing? Because on your, do you have like a gene where because you made science so fun just in that little preview clip. How do you do it? What's your baseline?
I think what it is, it's like I'm always like, I'm fascinated by stuff, and I'm really like, I get really excited about things in the kitchen. And I think that when you're so excited about stuff, you're like, look how cool this is. You know, like, yeah, it's super cool. You know, and everybody's, you know, we're having a big cool fest, right? Because you're so sort of jazzed about like why something is happening. And when you can explain it in English, and that's I think the big trick is that a lot of times, like, people will explain stuff to you, and because like they want to sound smart, they use big words, right? But like, nothing is that hard. Nothing is that complicated, right? So like when you can like really explain something and really in words that everybody can understand, you know, when you talk over someone's head, they tune out. They're like, I don't know what this guy's talking about. I can't listen anymore. But like when you really like explaining it in a way that people can really understand, and you can share that enthusiasm and that curiosity that you have, I think that's what does it. It's like, you know, oh wait, this person thinks something is very cool, and they're explaining it to me in a way that I can understand why they think it's cool, and now I think it's cool.
That's great.
You know, you're involved with your experience with the Food Network and with all this competition that we see on the Food Network, where it's just constant. There are baking challenges and this challenge, and you've got so many different projects. It's hard to keep track of. As far as the biggest difference, you correct me if I'm wrong, between cooking where you can kind of wing it and you can discover stuff. Mm-hmm. Is there anything baking? I've always thought you have to be precise. You have to. The measurements count. The amount that you put in counts. What you do counts.
Absolutely.
Have you ever had that moment you hear a lot about in chefs' kitchens where you make a slight error or you discover something by accident that results in a great baked good? In your case, a cake or something like that. Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah. One time I was making a cake and I had covered it in fondant and it needed to be brown. And what is it? What did you cover it in?
Fondant.
Covered it in... Yeah, fondant, which is it's kind of the consistency of pie dough, but it's a sugar paste. You roll it out really thin and you lay it on top of the cake and smooth it down. It gives the cake this really nice, smooth finish.
Okay, and a lot of your cakes look like that. I get it. All right.
Right. And so I needed to make the fondant brown, and my airbrush was broken. Right. So I was like, I'll use a paintbrush. And so I started painting the brown right on top of it. It looked absolutely terrible. Did not look like the cake was supposed to be this nice soft brown. But what happened was sugar is hygroscopic. There's a big word, but I'll tell you what it means. It means water loving, right? So sugar will drink the moisture out of the air. So like when you go to the diner and you try to get the sugar out of the big, the glass thing and it's all stuck to the bottom, it's stuck to the bottom because the sugar absorbed all the moisture, became a liquid, recrystallized, and stuck together. And now you have a big lump of sugar in the bottom of the glass that you can never get out. So same thing. What happened was the sugar in the fondant started sucking up all the liquid that was in the paint. Then the sugar and the liquid mixed and they got really sticky. So as I was painting it, it got streakier and streakier and streakier. And eventually it looked exactly like wood grain. And I figured out how to make stuff look like wood grain. You paint it brown and you just keep going over the same spot over and over until it gets really sticky. And then the surface of the fondant grabs the paintbrush and makes it kind of skip and stick. And it slides it around and it looks exactly like wood grain.
So cool. Now I expect a puppet to come in and say, it's a miracle, Duff. It's a miracle. The cake turned into a wood plank. It's a miracle that we have right there. Oscar, go ahead. Oh, by the way, I got to give him another
I love this is your international symbol for puppeteering.
Yeah, I'm a puppet.
I'm
Yoda cake, yes. Fondant we will cook or we will make. Go ahead, Oscar. I know you've got a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Duff, we would be remiss not to mention, the current state of the world. And I'm curious to see the twofold. One, how your businesses pivoted as best as possible during the pandemic. And then the filming process with puppets. Do they wear masks?
We will go to Goldbelly. We will go to Goldbelly and sell cakes for a fortune. We will. Yes, we will. Here we go. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Duff. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Home run. You sell it for $1 million. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry. Let's go.
It's funny because it's true.
Let me tell you. It's actually, listen, I think it's really important to look at things like Goldbelly, which is one of the things that we did during the pandemic. Like, nobody's having weddings. Nobody's having big birthday parties. So we literally, our business, we're humming along, doing our thing. It went to zero. Amazing. We had zero income, overnight, zero income. Every cake on the books is canceled overnight. What are we going to do? So Goldbelly was one of the ways that we did this. Look, we can't sell, big wedding cakes, but we can still get cakes to people. And now we can do it all over the country, which is really great. We've always tried to figure out how to do it. Goldbelly figured out how to do it. And so we got a really great partnership with those guys. And the thing about Goldbelly, it's like, oh, you want some brisket from a barbecue joint in Texas that you heard about on Guy Fieri show or something.
Right.
Well, now you can go to Goldbelly and you can get it. And it's great for you because you get to have the exact that barbecue that you want. And it's great for those guys in Texas because they got a little barbecue stand. And now all of a sudden they are cranking out briskets left and right. So it's really, really good. I would highly recommend that people go to Goldbelly and just search around and see what's there. And, if you got a buddy that was always telling you about the crab cakes at this one restaurant in Baltimore, like Jimmy's Famous, right? Go to Jimmy's Famous. I don't think they're on Goldbelly. I think they just do it themselves.
I know there's a Maine lobster roll on Goldbelly. I think there's a lobster roll on there. Is that right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's
everything you can think of. And maybe you grew up in Maine and now you live in Idaho and you're not getting good lobster rolls. Well, you can,
right.
And so I think that's really good. So that's one of the things that we did was we went to Goldbelly. Another thing that we did was we started doing lots of digital classes. We did all of our classes were in the bakery, people would come in, we'd have a class, it was super fun. Now we do it where we're sending people kits. So everything they need for their cake is in the kit. Then they log on to our website and we have a class and everybody tunes in
cool.
and, they can ask questions and there's a lot of back and forth and everybody sees each other and it's really, really fun. So we did find ways that we could get through it. And I think it's great. And I think what this did for a lot of us in the restaurant industry is really think about our revenue streams. And we having every restaurant in the country have to shut down simultaneously is not something anybody ever thought would happen. So you don't plan for that stuff. But now everybody who has now lived through this pandemic, everybody's thinking, well, look, what if this goes away? Or what if that goes away? How do we pivot? How do we stay in business? So that's some of the stuff that we did. And now with filming has been fascinating. It's been, we get tested every other day, like an actual COVID test, but we get our temperature taken and they check for symptoms every single day. You walk on set, first person you see is somebody from some sort of service that's a COVID monitor that are making sure that, you don't have any symptoms. And then you are wearing a mask the entire time. When they say, action, mask comes off, we do our scene, goes right back on as soon as they say cut.
Wow.
And they're working,
so
and you're working yourself. I saw some of the clips here where you're in full costume and you're flying around the air, being an egg yolk and all this stuff. And it's pretty labor intensive. How many have you put in the can? How many episodes of the Happy Time show have you done?
Happy Fun Bake Time has 6 episodes. And hopefully people will watch it and we'll get to make more. But, we'll see. This is a big, departure, right? This is a new, not a lot of scripted stuff on any Discovery Network, let alone Food Network. Nothing scripted. And so, this, I got to tell you, I am so grateful for them for just having the chutzpah to roll the dice on me and just be like, all right, look. We're working with, the Jim Henson Company, which we've never done before, doing a scripted show, which we've never done before, taking, some of our talent that's, pretty, a big part of a lot of shows and letting you do something completely different that you can fail miserably at. We're taking a big chance. And for some reason they say yes. So I don't want to let them down.
I think you're great at it. I think you're perfect. I think that the idea is it's such a fit for you to do this. I know. And before we let you go, we only got you for a couple more minutes. Having a kid, did that in some way motivate you for this project a little bit? Because people think differently as soon as that little life comes into the world.
Yeah, I tell you, you're totally right. Now that I've had she's 3 months old now. Now I have a kid. I feel like I have purpose in my life. I feel like I finally have direction and a reason for being here. But I came up with this idea way before my daughter was, even a twinkle in my eye.
The show is Duff's Happy Fun Bake Time. It's produced by the Jim Henson Company.
So cool.
For Discovery Plus. And as Oscar, said with a little naughty word, they're promoting the out of this. They're thinking you got something there. Rob, I know you have one more question before we let Duff go.
Do you pinch yourself that you saw Sesame Street, had an idea, and then fast forward and you're working with Muppets. And what's it like? I mean, they've been a part of our culture now for
It's
nearly
iconic.
60 years. Yeah, what's it like working with Muppets?
Yeah. Man, I tell you, like every single day, my wife would come with me to the set a lot. And like every single day, like both of us are just like, can you believe this is happening? Like the Jim Henson Company and, Discovery and Food Network all said yes to this weird idea I had when I was in my kitchen, just baking a babka and watching Sesame Street, like
awesome.
a normal 40-something-year-old person.
I love it.
You guys know how show business works. I mean, there are millions and millions of good ideas every day. And when one of them actually gets made, the amount of things that need to go right for something this different and this weird and this unproven to actually get made. I mean, that's why they keep making the same movies over and over and over. You're like, that would work. So let's just make 10 more of those. You know what I mean? Like, for people to really take a chance, I mean, it is rare. It is rare. And like, I personally, I've never been as proud of a project as this.
That's great.
Seeing it come together.
I wish you the best. I really do.
The music is amazing. The puppets are amazing. The food is amazing. It's just everything about it. It's just, you're going to love it. It's really, really good.
We're here to
I
support
will be
you.
sitting down. I will be
100%.
sitting down with
For
my
sure.
7-year-old to watch this, and it really. I wish you the best of luck. You're so generous to come on our show and join it. It's Duff's Happy Fun Bake Time, and it premieres today on Discovery Plus. You can see it today. I want everybody in our listening audience to give it a watch, especially with your little one. It's a family show, and we need more of those as well. And if you want to get one of Duff's cakes, you can go to Goldbelly and get those too. And really, nothing but a success to you. I hope you do really well with this. And
Thanks,
after you do
Mike.
10 seasons,
Thank you.
after your 10th season, you're like, I never want to see another Muppet. Come back and join us, Duff, when that happens. Duff
You got
Goldman,
it.
thank you.
Duff.
Thank you for coming on the Mike O'Mara Show.
Thanks,
Take
Mike.
care.
Thanks, Rob. See you
Thank
guys.
you.
That's
See you guys.
Duff, everybody.
So cool.
Yeah.
That's
That is
awesome.
very cool.
So
very,
cool.
very cool.
And
So
before
happy
we
for him.
go, thank you,
Yes.
Mark Riddell, for setting that up.
Oh, you've learned, my boy.
Yes.
You have.
That's
you have learned.
MIRKRIDDEL,
Right.
Mark Riddell.
Okay, he's fine. Tell him not to make promos that sound like he's the bottom of the toilet now.
He's already
All right, I
working
don't know
on
what
correcting.
happened.
He's
I don't know
correcting
what
it.
happened.
He's working on it. He's
What
working
was
on
the problem? Suddenly he's making these little things, and it's just like,
it.
Oh, on a show, Oscar Santana's got me.
Rob, are you a baker? I never asked this. When
Mike,
we
I
had,
do a
Duff
little
on
something called fruitcake. Come on.
there. Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. That's right. I don't have the patience. I don't have the patience. Here's my problem.
You
I don't
hate
have the
the
patience.
You
for-
hate the
for
science.
cooking.
You hate the science of cooking.
I hate the science of cooking.
You
I
love
don't like to do it.
You love to do, and I've seen you cook, and you're very good. You're a great cook.
but
you're
I want it in my belly.
and you're also one of these guys. But you cook
Right.
like the movie Oscar. When Mike cooks, it's like the movie Cocktail.
By the way, we are.
Yes.
Look, if you know somebody that's famous and would like to come on the Mike O'Mara Show, we are told by Duff as we tape this in the afternoon.
Yes.
And you'll notice that when we come back from break, we're all going to be wearing different shirts.
Not me.
Yes.
Maybe not Rob. Maybe not Rob.
Got to roll the dice.
We are the most thoughtful people. We are, I have been in the habit ever since we got a hard time. The worst thing that could ever happen when you would do a Radio Row thing,
Yes.
and you'd get the big celebrity that would come on, and they would say, you've got him for 11 minutes, or
Yep.
you've got him for 20 minutes, or you've got him
9
25 minutes.
minutes.
And the worst you would ever get. We were so, in the world of radio, so devalued by the publicist that you'd have said there's nothing. Was like, well, let me ask you one last question. Somebody goes like, I'm sorry, we don't have any more time. Like right in the middle. It's like,
It was bad. It was always
S&D.
It was bad at the Super Bowl, but it was the worst time. Was the last time CBS flew us out to Television City, and they were pulling people in the middle of questions.
the
Doris
middle of a
Roberts
question, so I'm
cannot
sorry.
answer that question. Goodbye.
And there'd be some, I remember there was this moose-like publicist that I swear to God, it looked like a combination of like Eve Arden and Godzilla who came over and was just like, Doris, it was Doris. She has to go to the next interview
That's
right
right.
now. Oh, bite me. bite me with that. He's a nice guy. Wouldn't you say between him and, say, Guy Fieri, there are not many guys that would fit with the whole puppet thing.
No,
You wouldn't
it's
put
hard.
Alton. You couldn't put.
Yeah.
If you put Alton Brown on a puppet
No,
show,
Alton used
you would
puppets
have a
different.
disaster.
He uses puppets for different purposes.
You also need a deep background
his
check.
puppets suck.
Deep
Just like his
background
show
check.
sucks.
What are
What's
you doing?
that?
You need a deep background check before you start a kid's show. He's clean. Duff is clean.
Duff is clean. Maybe not Alton.
You're such a mark. Why are we slamming? If we got Alton Brown, he'd be on the show tomorrow.
Yes,
Of
all
course.
day.
If you tell Twitch to book Alton Brown,
Yes.
All right, I
we'll
shall.
have him on this show, and you can do the interview.
All right.
I'll be on the range.
And I'll write you questions about the science of cooking. You say, I want to ask you about the acidity of baking soda.
Best baked product you ever enjoyed. Your favorite baked product.
Ooh. I put my fruitcake pretty high, but I can't choose it because it's mine. I really can't choose it because it's mine.
It's in my top 4.
My mom's oatmeal cookies.
Okay.
I think is probably, if I had a go-to, that would be my go-to. My mom's oatmeal cookies, the
My
best.
mom's flan.
Your
Fantastic.
flan?
Oh, the flan.
she's
Yeah.
so
Does
good.
flan really count as a baked good, though?
You have to bake it.
Isn't it more like a custard?
It's still in the
It's
oven,
not like
right?
a cookie or a cake.
You have to submerge the ramekin partially in water and put it in an oven.
Right.
I'm never full.
I had a carrot cake from the Publix grocery store like a week ago. It was
And?
really, really good.
Carrie makes a very good carrot cake too. That's
Just
you guys-
before we get out of here, we got.
Have you guys tried the Florida cake?
I'm gonna.
That's
I'm
good.
gonna look at,
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at Goldbelly, and see. We're not gonna.
What I
we're not
would-
gonna slam it.
No,
We're not
what I
gonna-
would
we're
like
not
to do,
gonna-
Mike,
No.
see how much it would cost on Goldbelly to have some Ben's Half Smokes delivered to here, which is only about 2 miles away.
All right, well, I'm gonna put.
Because wouldn't you say, Oscar, if there were to be a food that would be delivered from D.C., it would be the Half Smoke, right?
Yeah.
That's the signature food.
I've been on the site before. It is
All right, I'm on
worth the
okay.
price of admission if it's a special
He's got.
occasion.
I thought it was a
birthday
James
cake.
Bond movie.
He's got red velvet heart cake, birthday cake, the classic DIY cake kit.
That
sells that too.
stands for do it yourself.
Blue Rose cupcakes. They're all right. Hold on, those are the best sellers. All right, trending. Let's see what's trending here. The Blue Rose chocolate cake is there. His cakes are beautiful.
Oh,
His
it's
cakes
amazing.
are beautiful. His cakes are these are special occasion cakes.
Yeah.
They truly are. All right, let me see.
Even if the special occasion is just treating yourself, Oscar.
And I liked how he promoted briskets. And not even just what he does.
No, he's all about
It's
it.
like, get a sweet brisket from one of your favorite shows, then pick up a cake if you'd like.
Yeah. And
I'm gonna
Baltimore,
do
of course,
lobster
he
roll.
said,
Like a less scrupulous man would be like, get my cakes. Goldbelly.com now.
McClune's kit. McClune's Lobster Shack lobster roll.
where's that? Where's McClune's? Have you ever heard of
South Thomaston, Maine.
it? Okay.
Hancock Gourmet Lobster Company.
Damn.
That's local for you, man.
Snap.
That is what. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'd like to pay my mortgage. Thank you very much. That's the way I look at it.
Just ask Kathy to put it in dry ice and send it down.
Yeah.
Wait, let me see how many you get. Let
Gold-
me double check. And I think it
Oscar?
comes with clam chowder.
It's Gold Kathy.
Gold Kathy. There it is. Mini lobster grilled cheese, lobster pot pies, a 4-pack.
A lobster pot pie.
All right. Very good. Very good. Let's sell more advertising. All right. We're going to take a break. And thank you, Duff Goldman. Don't forget, watch that show. Help him out. Help our friend out. Produced by the Jim Henson Company for Discovery Plus. Duff's Happy Fun Bake Time. Featuring our friend Duff Goldman, who was nice enough to come on our show. We'll be right back. Everybody! Let's open up the audio vault for today. Take it away, Rob.
Who is the captain now?
Oh dear.
Oh, no!
Fun is the best thing to have.
The Digital Dumpster. Audio oddities and digital diversions. Don't miss the Digital Dumpster every day on The Mike O'Mara Show.
It's the Mike O'Mara Show. Mike O'Mara, Rob Spiewak, Oscar Santana. And now, the best of O'Mara.
Big day in the O'Mara household. I will take my headphones off now because for the purposes of
The set.
showing you with a visual aid, we have Trunk or Treat Day today.
Yes, a week. It feels like it's a week early.
Yeah, it seems so early for.
Well, it's early because they're doing trunk or. I don't understand why they're doing it now, but I guess so. If everybody has different Halloween things they want to do on the day itself, they can do it. But it's going to be trunk or treat. My little guy was out walking the dogs with me in his full pirate uniform, and usually there are 100 people in the neighborhood. I wanted everybody to see him, and of course it was a ghost town.
Yeah.
No one was around, but that's the way they roll. And so he wasn't able
Let
to.
you down again.
Will anybody see me? And I said, well, tonight when we go to trunk or treat, we're actually bringing our car over there. We're going to decorate our car. It's going to be awesome.
Aww.
And mommy will be a pirate. Her name is Peg.
Peg. Because of her leg.
I don't. That's what I said. And you know how Carla works, Rob. I looked at her. I said, Peg. Oh, you're gonna have a peg leg. She said no.
She said, huh?
What? So why do you
we
want to
could
be
take
called?
this broomstick and tie your leg around around your back, and you can actually walk around with this broomstick.
That could be something.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're going to have the
Peg is
the-
short
the
for
car-
Mike.
Mike,
What?
you don't
Well, I'm
sound.
having a little trouble hearing Rob. What?
Peg is short for Margaret. Maybe that's why she's going with it. I'm just trying to think why she wouldn't go with the obvious. It's so obvious. It drives me crazy that she wouldn't think Peg leg.
I don't know.
Does it open up into a larger room?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Mike, your day started out with disappointment when no one was on the streets to see your wonderful son dressed up.
Yeah, because he looks so cute. I should have taken a picture of him, but I do that enough. He looked adorable, and I mean, he's got a store-bought suit, a little pirate suit, but it's so adorable on him, and he's just, I mean, he's at that stage now where he looks cute in anything. But I said about a month ago, I said, why don't we go all in? Why don't we take the car over and be one of those cars that hands out the candy?
Sure.
And then we'll have the best of both worlds. So I said, we'll do a little pirate motif, and Rob sent me some pirate music today. For that we're going to play in the car.
Perfect.
And then Mama's going to be a pirate, and Daddy's going to dress up as a pirate. I got a pirate shirt, but yesterday my my pirate hat arrived, and I got a scary pirate hat.
Okay.
The hat itself is scary?
Sizing for hats traditionally has been troublesome for both of you guys,
Yeah,
right?
and Halloween.
Oh my God. Arr.
That is scary.
How do the glasses scare you?
You look like Rick James.
Yeah.
Glasses.
It looks like you could be, from Jamaica.
Yeah?
A pirate from Jamaica.
Man. Yeah, man. Here we go. This
Or
size,
maybe in
man.
Kid Rock's band.
Arr. Arr.
Mike,
Yes, sirree.
when you saw the description of the pirate hair / hat, whatever it may be.
Yeah, it is a black hat with hair that cascades out of it. Unkempt.
No, it's the tattered hat. It's like what you would see in Pirates of the Caribbean, where the hat is like shredded. You know what I mean?
okay.
It's not
Yeah.
hair coming down. It's
Oh,
on
those
the
are all
top of the
pieces.
hat.
Again, the camera did it no justice then. It just looked like you were Milli Vanilli for 2 seconds.
It's like this.
Oh, it's a shredded hat.
It's
Okay, I
shredded.
see.
It's shredded. Like you're one of.
Arr, be hardy.
That makes sense. How are you going to do your teeth?
Yeah.
I don't. I have to get the stuff. I might go to the Walmart and grab some of the teeth wax.
Now, just
and put
because the people that work at Walmart look like they use it doesn't
Right.
mean they sell it.
Well, they'll have something because it's.
They'll have something
they'll
there.
have
I'm going to go
something
cheap.
there.
And then I'm going to darken the eyes. Carla's got the eye patch concession, so she's wearing the eye patch.
Peg will have the eye
so
patch.
Yeah.
I will do that. And then I've got the pirate shirt, and I'm wearing black shirts and sandals because that's what Florida pirates wear.
Sure.
What's the plank?
We're not even doing the plank thing. Carla was like, it's like all these ideas. Hey, we'll do this and we'll do this and we'll do. And then the day comes, it's like, okay, what time do we have to get over there? 5 o'clock. Okay. Do you really want to do the plank thing? I said, no, just let the kids walk up and get
All
candy.
you need
That's
is a
the way we'll do it.
1x6. It's such a great idea.
Okay, why don't you go out and get it, Mr. Man?
Well, I
okay,
wouldn't
why
be
don't
able
you
to
run
get
out
it
and
to
get
you
it?
in time.
No, I mean, it's just, no, we don't have time. I don't want to go to the wood store.
The wood store.
Hi,
world.
my name is Mike, and I'm here at the wood store. Do you
wood
sell
store.
pieces of sticks for building?
84 lumber. What are we going to do after it's done? What are we going to do after it's done?
You could use it to build a birdhouse.
Or give it to the church. Say this is one piece of a cross. You get another one, you're good to go.
Yeah.
halfway there. Yeah, it'll be exciting. But it's going to be fun. And then
How about drinking? You had mentioned that.
No, that's not going to happen.
Okay.
It's not appropriate. It's in a church parking lot, and my pastor's probably going to be there. And I don't want to be there. I'm a pirate. How you doing? With breath. And
the
all
breath.
that.
I think the breath would be a bigger issue because you handle your liquor very well.
Are you not as excited for this as you were 2 days ago?
I'm extraordinarily excited. But by the time it comes today, I'm leading the show with it. I'm very, very excited. I'm thrilled to do this, so I'll be really looking forward to it. It should be a big fun. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
You know what? I'm thinking if they don't have any sort of black tooth blackening agent, you know what you could use? A black juji fruit.
Oh, yeah. Might be a lot easier.
And
might be a
tastier.
lot easier.
Ooh, I like that.
Juji
too. And then
fruit.
You
You
can,
can
and then
eat
you
it when
just
it
take
falls
all the
out.
black ones and you can update it. If it comes loose, you can just update it and go.
That's true.
"Hey,
And you know
hey,
what's always a good joke is put a green one in your nostril.
You know what I might do? I said to Carl, and she got kind of concerned. I said, "Hey, it's not really an official Halloween unless I make a child cry." I see you're a little princess. If you want candy, you're going to have to come by me.
I would be.
And you'll say that to a boy.
Look, Mike, I love my father, but if he did anything fun like that when I was a kid, like, I don't remember it. Like, my dad, like, he showed up after
My
Halloween.
dad didn't either. My dad, didn't either. My dad came to a lot of things. My dad came to a lot of Little League games, but I never remember him. When my sister was a kid, my mom set up the garage. We had a New England-style small Cape house that I was raised in, and the house was situated on the lot next to a rock ledge. It was a very unusual lot. My dad loved it that way. It wasn't your standard little square lot that in my town, and he got a good deal on it because it was an unusual lot to build a house. But he liked the fact that it was up against a ledge, so the house sat sideways. And the garage, instead of being on the side of the house, was actually the front of the house.
Yes.
Okay.
And my mom set up in the garage. This is when my sister was little. A cauldron with dry ice, and she dressed up as a witch, and she was stirring that, and the kids would come down the driveway, and my mom would be hee. And then by the time I became Halloween age, my mom had blown that off.
Of course.
So, hey, sorry, Mary, but it's the truth. You did it for Kathy. You didn't
let
do
it
for
go.
me.
Yeah, do you want to know an amazing thing that will probably surprise you as it did me is when I was like maybe 3 or 4, my father worked for a company that's still around called Miter. They're based in the Tysons area. And for the Miter Christmas party, my dad was Santa Claus. And all the kids got to come up and sit on his lap because he was probably the heaviest employee at Miter at the time. And did you know, I didn't know about it until about 10 years later when he told me.
Oh, man.
It
You didn't know
actually-
he was Santa?
He
Was it
So
cool?
you sat on Santa's lap and you thought it was really Santa and it was your dad.
It was my dad.
Well, he wasn't around that much when you were little,
No, he
right?
was around then. Yeah.
Just for the holidays.
I was
for the
a
holidays.
Santa. I was a Santa. Remember
Love
when I
you,
was a
Bob.
Santa at the bar when I did
Yes.
the Sunday for the homeless shelter, and I did that at the bar, and I was Santa. I have that. That's lying around somewhere. It might be up in Maine. I got the full suit. I got the.
You
full
could
Santa
be
suit up
Santa
there.
now.
I could be Santa now, but you do Santa once when you've performed that wonderful task.
It is a wonderful job.
You know what? I get. Look, there are two types of people. There are the people that are the professional Santas, which, by the way, over the last 10 years, have you seen the explosion? All they have to do is go down to Patriot Harley Davidson and just go, "Excuse me, would you like to be Santa? Fat ass, goatee
Professional
beard,
Santa.
fat man, fat bad breath,
And
bad
a
teeth,
leather vest.
bad nose hair, ear hair, big white beard, fat leather vest.
Chaps.
Would you like to be Santa? God."
Some side cash.
I remember those meetings with all those people. It's just like, "Hey, Mike, welcome to the Harley Owners Group." I remember the breath.
How's my little weekend warrior? Ho, 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 ho.
Sam's booked with Santa gigs.
Mrs. Claus has tattoos.
You get the professional Santas that are, what is that, one step above the guys that are holding the signs? Is that what it is?
Yeah, but the thing is that the ones that if you can nail down like a Tyson's Corner
Oh,
gig,
my God. If you get
one month, it'll make your year.
Oh, yeah. Worth the suit alone.
And then there was the guy in Richmond. When I was in school, he was called Sergeant Santa, and he'd work it so it was an all year round thing. Like he had a green Santa suit for St. Patrick's Day, and he did Easter stuff. This guy wouldn't let it go. He was a creep.
That's what I'm saying. There's a creep factor with people that really dig it.
One of my good friends, she gets a Santa for one of her son's birthdays or daughter's birthdays every year, right? because it's in December. It's a big holiday
I
party.
was saying
right?
the
Yeah.
birthday was in August.
Yeah.
Right.
So I asked her, I was like, how much does this guy look just like Santa? And she goes, he makes $1,000 a gig.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a very lucrative
in this
way to
area,
do it.
in this DC area. I said, $1,000 to walk around and eat people's food and drink.
And the thing
I
is
think
he
really-
doesn't pay the elves anything.
Well, when you're talking about the store Santas now, I don't care whether it's any retail shop like a Bass Pro Shops or a
Right.
mall or whatever. I want the real beard. If I go in and I see a fake beard on the Santa, it's like, I'm sorry, you could have done better.
Yeah.
You could have, especially down here in West South Florida.
Yeah.
You could seriously walk into a diner, stand at the door, and go, "Excuse me, I've got a proposition for you."
And
You'd
Mike,
be good at it.
he can't be tanned.
No.
Like if
Santa
you've got
can't be tanned.
sunburn and you're
Well,
Santa.
Yeah, there you go, being racist again.
No, I'm just saying, like, you can't look like you've been on vacation Santa the whole time. You got to look like you haven't seen the sun.
Vacation Santa. You can actually find a lot of good Santa Clauses on the Dodgers.
By the way, man, they're up 1-0. Did you see the game yesterday? Did you watch it?
It was great. It was 2.5 hours. It was the shortest game ever.
I wanted to get 9 hours of sleep so I could be a pirate.
Dodgers.
I realize I'm looking at this right now with the glasses. Can I look any more like a doofus dork? Can you imagine if you saw a pirate like this in Pirates of the Caribbean? Hi, I think I'll do your accounting. Yes, sirree. I'm your pirate.
The shirt will make it.
You can toughen
the
it
shirt.
up. If anybody can toughen that up, you can do it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to black the beard out. I'm going to get the beard super
good.
dark.
Good.
And then it's just a question of the makeup. And I do have a good pirate shirt, which is going to be fantastic. But I don't have a big belt, and I don't have swords.
Well.
And yes, what? What do you mean? Well, what?
You have
What?
a pretty big belt. I do too.
I don't have a pirate belt. ass.
Oh, okay. I thought you were
I
talking
don't.
about the
Where's my
size.
demo? Just get my go to music.
Ladies, are you looking for hot singles in your area? Looking to connect with some of the most eligible bachelors and be swept off your feet and led into the sunset? Looking to find that kind of romance that can only be found in that movie Titanic? Yeah? Well, me too. But in the meantime, you can find plenty of stupid cat videos to fill the void in the TMOS Ladies Who Lunch Facebook group. Join today to get your weekly dose of stupid pictures and connect with plenty of hot singles in your area. If you count Ponyboy.
Here's to the ladies who lunch.
The best of O'Mara.
Did you guys happen to see the picture that we posted of the jack-o'-lantern where I carved the pumpkin?
Yeah, it looked
with
great.
Okay.
It was like a family tradition, right?
Yeah.
This is a Florida thing. It's got to be a Florida thing. Because I never really was aware of this when I was back east during autumn when I would have a jack-o'-lantern. But I have to tell you this: the pumpkin was carved. Big, beautiful, tall pumpkin. My boy picked it out. It was just perfect. We carved it on the back porch, and then we put it out in front, and I put the little candles in it. The very first morning when I came out, I noticed that there were a lot of bugs flying around it. Now, that's not strange. You've got an open, carved pumpkin with holes in it. So
Mike,
probably
we like to call it an exposed squash.
It was an exposed squash, and it was just inundated with these bugs, okay? Flash forward to the next day. All right, this is Friday morning. I come out Friday, and I notice that the entire top where I'd carved it had been chopped off. Where it looked like to me the insects had eaten away at the face. So now where there were the little teeth at the face.
Thank you.
But where they did this, it had caved in, and I'm like, could these tiny, they look like little fruit flies? Could they do that much chewing and damage? I thought, I didn't think about it, but I'm like, well, they must have. There's nothing else there. Flash forward to this morning. I walk out to walk the dogs. The pumpkin is off the tree stump from where our palm tree was before Hurricane Irma, and it is flat, and it is in the back of it. By the way, this pumpkin was carved on last Tuesday or Wednesday. That's how. This pumpkin is absolutely fresh. It's not. Not hasn't rotted yet. Hasn't had time to do the rot yet, and it is flat on the ground. And I said that there is no way that the insects could have caused so much damage that the pumpkin would have
collapsed
over and fallen, and now is lying flat. That has to be some other critter.
Maybe,
Does it not?
or it's the rot from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
That's you wouldn't believe how similar. Without the black and the goo all over it, but like with the flies and all the bugs,
Yeah.
it has that look to it. But I have no idea. So there's some sort of creature. I thought it was so sanitized down here in Cocoonville that it couldn't do that much damage. But it looked very, very scary. It looked scary. So I don't know. I don't know what
Carla,
the hell.
walk
I
out.
know who got it. Barb got it.
God, why do you just like Chrissy Metz? You are obsessed with it.
Well, my bar. Oh, poor Barb. It goes way back. Do you?
Are
have
you watching
squirrels?
Stranger Things? Are you watching anything contemporary?
I intend to watch it tonight.
You intend to. It doesn't count. You don't watch anything contemporary. You don't binge on a
I'm
show.
real sorry about your pumpkin, but don't take it out on me.
No, you don't watch anything contemporary.
I watched
on
Stranger
time.
Things before you did.
He did put us onto it. He did put
How
us
come you're not
onto
watching
it
it this season?
What's that?
How come you're not watching it now?
I had things going on
What
this weekend.
things did you have this
Had
weekend?
to
What do you
ferry
have
the
going
kids
on in the
all
evening?
over the place. I had to
What
ferry
do you
the
have
kids
going
all
on in the? What do you watch in the evening when you sit down?
And then I watched the baseball game on Saturday night. I watched, and I did
The
watch
whole thing. The whole
You don't
the
like
whole
sports.
tray. Yeah, I did
you
watch
watch
the
it?
game. I did.
You watched the whole game?
Yeah.
You sat down and watched a baseball game?
I like World Series baseball because it matters. So
See, this is
That's fine.
Do you believe him?
Yes, I believe him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I consume the World Series, and I barely like watching half the stuff.
He consumed the World Series.
Yes.
Where
You didn't
is
watch
it?
my-
Don't
you
know.
didn't-
He
The
consumed
world.
it. The world.
Did you watch last night till 2 a.m.,
I
Mr.
didn't-
Baseball fan?
No, last night I was busy doing some other stuff.
Yeah,
Man,
thank
oh
you.
man.
The one
I
game you should have watched.
Well, I didn't
Both
watch
of
it
you.
either. I watched the 17-minute highlight reel today, which was pretty amazing. It was truly. But Stranger Things, here's the thing. I don't care what the show is, no matter how popular it is. I'm a big believer for serial television that you always recap the previous season.
It's
you
just
always do.
it's good business.
They have
Because
a recap.
What?
They have a recap
They
on
do.
Netflix.
They do have a recap, but what Mike's looking for is when the series starts back up again, a quick recap at the front of the show.
Front of the episode, like they would do for network
Where
TV.
would I have to search for the?
It's a single standalone episode within the season.
Oh, see, no, I want the 60-second,
Last time.
half minute.
Yeah.
Last
I want
season.
that, and they didn't give that to me. So when I got done with the look at Pony's look, but it's like
you old man.
maybe you can maybe you watch the recap. You have two houses.
Maybe let the recap in your other house.
Your other house, Isn't that right?
Just trying to help.
Or Kutsani or whatever his doll is.
He never
Anyway,
needs
so-
a recap for his statues. He remembers that.
Yes. Well, the long and short of it is, I watched the first episode of Stranger Things, and I was kind of lost. I remembered bits and pieces, but I don't remember enough of it where I was able to kind of track with the big plot development that happened in the end of episode 1 of season 2.
Mike, do not fret. I felt the same thing. I actually looked at Shannon and I said, "Am I missing something?" Because I thought I remembered the first season.
Did she think you were referring to Single Life?
No.
Okay, just check.
I
By
haven't
the way,
seen that, though.
I should say this, that the genius of Stranger Things, and this is what I thought the first time you guys turned me on to it, and Rob, I will give you full credit.
He
You
was
were
stomping
hyping
in
me
here in his flip flops,
on
telling us about
on
it.
Stranger Things. So you did
a
tell
fine
me that.
compliment from Oscar. Oh,
I will tell. Jeez, God. Somebody give him a sedative, please. Give him a sedative right now. The thing about Stranger Things, and this is where the brilliance of the show.
Yes.
The casting of these kids, these child actors are the most brilliant child actors I have ever seen on television. And it's not one of them, it's all of them. And then they add cast members, and they are equally compelling. And they do just this amazing, amazing job. By the way, I think one of them might be featured in news you may not need today.
Oh, good.
I'm not saying it applies to all of them, but the one this
I
story
did
is
see
about.
that story.
Let's just say it'll make sense to you when I give it to you. But the cast is just so compelling. Those
When we
kids
first-
are so compelling, and I hate child actors, but I love these kids.
well, you see, that's the thing. When we first watched it, I think we had a similar discussion where he said the casting of the kids, the young kids, not the older brothers, they're almost like Spielbergian in the fact that
No.
they're
So you
child
say
actors,
Spielberg. I have to tell you, they're better than because like
But
Goonies
Steven-
and things like that. I don't like the kids that are out of control and precocious.
but not
Spielberg
Goonies. I'm
kids,
talking like the kids in
E.T.?
E.T.
Yeah.
Where you could
Yeah.
like them.
You could like them, but they're better. They're
Yeah, they
actually
are
better
better.
than
They
the
are better.
Spielberg.
Fellas,
I
I
agree.
hate
Yes.
to interrupt this. I agree with both of you, but we have to clear something up here. This just in from the Ponyboy news desk. Ponyboy told Rob about Stranger Things. So Rob can't really get the credit.
Oh, busted!
Still told you about it, though.
Oh, no, that doesn't count, though.
It
You can't
does.
say, you are such a, you're a conjurer. You're a conjurer. You can't claim ownership when I give you credit if I think that you've done something. I don't
All
steal.
I said is that I told you about it. Pony didn't tell you
know what?
about it.
None of us served in the military,
That's
but this
true.
is the equivalent of stolen valor on the Mike O'Mara Show.
How dare you? I'm coming wearing my Stranger Things medal. You're going to make me take off my Stranger Things medal?
Take that uniform off that showed me Stranger Things. Pony was the originator for this?
He told me about it. I told you about it.
Pony consumes great television.
Well,
Pony
because he
gave me
has nothing
Bloodline.
going on in his life.
Well, when you're right, you're right.
And I'm the first one to say
So,
that.
Pony, did you hip Oscar to it also?
I think I got Rob on it,
I got
and
it from Rob.
got everyone else.
Yeah.
Wow. You and Bloodline was another great show until, of course, they
You got me
canceled
on
it.
Bloodline.
I got you on
You did.
Bloodline?
You did. You came in stomping
really?
about Bloodline.
And Pony told me about 60 Minutes.
That is awesome.
It is just I don't have to follow the plot because it's scary, and then the compelling nature of the kids. It's just they are. I don't know how
They do the 80s so well as
They
well.
do, and they don't
do the 80s
oversell it.
so beautiful.
That's the thing. They don't oversell it. It's not like a gimmicky 80s. It's the real deal.
It doesn't. I don't. The show, the Duffer Brothers. I guess those are the
Yeah.
creators of the show. They just do such a great job on. So it's not like any other TV show. And there's great content out there. And I love when there's talented stuff out there that people are making. It makes me feel good. It's a pleasure to watch.
I
It
intend
really,
to jump
really
in tonight, but I do have a question. Since it has been
Yep.
over a year since they shot the first season, have the kids gotten older in a weird way, or have they aged well? How are they doing with the
they've
second
aged.
season?
They seem to have made an effort to age them normally.
Good.
And when I listen, there are only two of them that kind of that kind of seem a little odd. And they will be on news you may not need today, and it makes total sense because I've talked about it before. We won't talk about it here. I will tell you there are two things, and rarely do I come in, especially on a Monday when we got the live show at the end of the weekend. Do I come in as Perry positive? But I'm coming in today to tell you that baseball fans, if you have even the slightest interest in the national pastime, baseball, I am telling you, this is close to becoming one of the greatest World Series ever. They've had two of the greatest games in World Series history, and this is just a slugfest. And you don't have to be a fan of either team to watch this incredible story play out. And I didn't see it. I watched the highlights today, and I regret I didn't stay up because this is what baseball's all about. Absolutely
The
incredible.
lead change, the idea, and just a quick recap. And this is again, I'm gonna get 10 things wrong, but I thought LA was just going to take the game. They were down by 4-5 runs.
Yeah, it looked
Houston
at the
was
beginning
down,
like
right?
LA was going to get
and
it
I was
done.
like, and then I really got into the game when I saw the score again, and I was like, oh my god, like the Astros are winning now.
Yeah.
And then you look back, you're like, oh my god, it's 7-7. Like what? And then you just keep going back and forth, and then it's tie.
It's the equivalent of a heavyweight fight going into the late rounds or during all the rounds where they just sit there and they pummel each other, and that's what they were doing.
So much
and
fun.
these pitchers are just throwing these balls up there, and they are getting jacked. Now, of course, inevitably you hear pitchers, because I think pitchers probably count as the whiniest people in baseball.
Whiniest position?
They're the divas. They're
Yeah,
the
they
ones
get
that
paid the
get
most,
to work
right?
every 4 days, 5 days, and they get to come. So you're hearing about the fact, I'm not sure exactly what the details are, that the baseballs in the postseason, in this particular World Series, are have a certain component to them that is making them harder to throw the breaking ball, and therefore they are getting jacked out of the park. I don't know how true that
It's
is.
that upper deck hologram they put on it.
That's
whatever
what it
they're
is.
doing. I tell you, keep those baseballs for the rest of the regular season.
Oh,
because
yeah.
you know what? It is so exciting to watch, and it's so much fun. And the moment that they showed, and I didn't see this until I watched the Today Show this morning, the greatest moment is, I believe the Dodgers tied the game or went ahead in late innings. I'm not sure. And you see on a home run, and you see this woman catch this home run ball. And she's holding it, and this man 2 seats over reaches over, snatches it out of her hand, and throws it back on the field. And he's got this look. He looks like an 8-year-old boy when he does it. He's got this. His lips are all curled up. He goes, "Throw it, Dad. We're losing.
Yeah,
we're losing
you can't
the game."
keep that
Now,
memento.
the great tradition of doing that, you've seen it at Wrigley, you've seen it at Yankee Stadium, you've seen it at ballparks all over. When your team loses, somebody gets a home run, you throw the ball back on the field. But this was like caught on camera because they got 500 cameras in the World Series. It's just another one of the little sidelights that's making this absolutely
a lot of people
riveting
didn't think
entertainment.
it would go 6 games, and now they've got to go back and thaw out Larry King.
Do they go back to L.A.?
LA.
Yeah, they go back to
Last
L.A.
2 games in L.A.
There we are. Okay, man, get a Dodger dog.
Mary Hart.
Cannon.
Mary Hart. Hello, this is internet sensation Tadia Bedje. Do you stare at your computer all day? Well, at least it's better than staring at Santana Moss. Face it, you're addicted. So, if you're staring at your computer anyway, you might as well be staring at the Mike O'Mara Show YouTube page. Just go to youtube.com/Mike O'Mara Show and click the bell to subscribe to our page. Now, you can see Mike make fun of Rob's big head or laugh at Oscar while he gets his head shaved. So hit up the TMOS YouTube page and watch all of the episodes that your computer-loving mind desires. Or just throw your computer out the window. Because if you're not watching us on YouTube, you're not using your computer for the right things anyway. Thank you.
The best of O'Mara.
We have talked about before that here at the Mike O'Mara World Broadcast Headquarters on Wisconsin Avenue in Washington, D.C., there is a ramp that ramps up, that drives up to the driveway, which is located above the drugstore.
Yes.
So it is a parking lot, but it sits on top. That's kind of when you really think about that, too, that's kind of a weird little situation. Isn't
It's
it?
the city,
when you really
though.
think about
It's
that.
a city.
It's a smart use of real estate, but one day there's going to be right next to the tampons. There's going to be a Buick because it's going to come falling through.
I wonder about that because it's really not a parking garage. And I'm sure it had to live up to certain codes, but ultimately,
As did this building in 1914.
Like somebody put a roof and then put concrete on top of it. Now there are a bunch of cars up there, and I hope it's strong enough that one day somebody's going to be in there getting their cough drops, and it's going to go, like that.
Mike, there was already a fire, and it survived that.
They put up a sign that just said, "Come on."
Remember when there was a blaze
They survived
in there?
a fire?
There
They
was a
survived a
big
fire?
fire.
That's right.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the lady drove into the building.
Yeah, and the lady drove into the building. Like, so much has happened to that structure.
Yeah.
That whoever built it definitely built it beyond code.
Yeah, it was built by Adrian.
Was it a year? It was roughly, I'm going to say it was roughly a year ago that someone came in, one of the interns came in and said, and then all the guys came in and said there is human waste that is on the ramp to the driveway.
Yes.
So the driveway that goes up to the top of the drugstore, right on the side behind the wall, there was poo.
Yes.
And toilet paper.
Poo.
Where someone had, or some paper of
I
some
believe
kind.
it was a box of tissues.
It was nasty.
Yeah,
and then
it was.
I said, well, I'd like to see this because you guys were talking about it, and I had no sense of what you. And I said, we need to get a picture of it. And Ashley volunteered. Lovely, sweet. It was.
She will be there.
It was.
New Orleans.
She's coming. Oh,
Yeah.
she's coming. That's
Yes.
wonderful.
Bringing her girlfriend too.
She. That's
GF.
awesome. All the way from Colorado.
Yes.
That's delightful.
Maybe Zoo
and
will bring
she-
his boyfriend.
She. Okay. Well, that's Oscar. Send letters to Oscar Zoo. That is not me. I just called
Does
you a
that
dick.
count as this? I don't know. When it gets that weird.
We
Okay.
celebrate all lives.
Okay.
No, that would
And
count
walks of
as
life.
you'd want to get your. No, I'm not doing that.
No, okay.
Anyway, we're on a slippery slope anyway. But
As
speaking of
was the
slippery
human
slope,
waste.
Ashley ran out to take a picture and then sent me the
Photojournalist.
picture, and it was nasty.
Yes.
Oscar comes rolling into the studio today, and there's something about the location of this driveway, this ramp that goes up to the parking platform, that I think is hidden from the street, and because of that, private activities occur. Because Oscar came in today, and I turn it over to him because there's a new discovery about that space, that sanitary space next to the studio.
It's easy to forget when we're in this part of the city that we're in the city because there's still a lot of green space, right?
You can't see what I just did, by the way. I was drinking and I flipped the entire lid over, and my entire shirt now is soaked with water. But please proceed. I'm terribly sorry.
Yeah, take it off.
What do you want to see? We get you a ticket to Key West as well?
Yeah, this episode just became Fantasy Fest for Pony.
Excuse me, Oscar. That was very rude.
no
Continue.
problem.
I will not interrupt you. People
Literotica
yell at
for
me
Pony.
for that.
It's okay.
But it is. It's the ramp is maybe a.
Can
30
I talk
degree-
for God's sake?
Yeah. See, when I interrupt and then I apologize for interrupting, and then you continue the interruption. That's why we get Rob from hundreds of listeners that say, "Let Oscar finish."
So, yes, everybody knows what a ramp looks like, and because we're in the city, you essentially feel like there aren't many places where you can hide. Behind the CVS, there is an access road, which is essentially an alley, where I would think all the nefarious activity that has to happen in this part of the city would happen because you're on a dark road that's not well lit. But for some reason, people love to get their kinks off on this ramp for our parking garage. A being going number 2, which you shouldn't do anywhere public, especially a parking ramp. And B, as of 2 days ago, we are now on, as of today, we are now on our second box of open Magnum condoms that are on that ramp. Now, a few things strike me when I see these Magnums. A, there's no way that a guy is having that much sex because my libido is basically dead. And then 2 is, why the Magnum condom? Like, why? What are you trying to prove on that ramp? Like, you clearly God has blessed you with everything you need. You don't have to get crazy on a ramp.
Maybe it's Tom Selleck.
Magnum PI.
My knowledge of the Magnum condom, it is not necessarily proving something as much as it is necessity, correct? That if you purchase the Magnum condom, if you are not going to qualify for the Magnum condom, you're going to, it'll be easy to tell because it'll be like putting a hefty bag on there.
It'll fit
correct?
like a burqa.
Like Jinkos.
Yeah.
Right?
Last time
I can't wear size 12. I just can't. Like, I'll fall right out of the shoes.
I bought some Magnums. They said, "Would you like these gift wrapped?" Just by looking at me.
Jesus Christ. That is so nasty. I am grossed out.
But
so
finding it once is bad.
They're Magnums because the person needs those.
Okay,
those are the brand because that's probably the brand they need.
Look, sex outside is probably erotic for some people, right?
I know some people dig it.
Okay, I get it. And I don't judge you for that. What I judge is A, doing it on a ramp, doing it twice in a week, and why do you not at least clean up after yourself? So when people that are illegally parking across the street, when they're walking to their office building, they don't have to see the condoms there.
Is there a box of them, or is it just
It was
what is the and remember this is a family show.
Yeah, today was an empty box, a wrapper, and something that looked to be used, but I did not pick up the wrapper to look at.
So the whole box was there, the whole tray?
This was a single, this is like a 3-hitter, like a 3-boxer.
Wow.
Not the big box of 20.
Right.
I think that'd be wasteful if you left the box.
Yeah.
But it seems weird that someone who's willing to risk being caught having sex out in public is still smart enough to be practicing safe sex.
No.
I agree with that. I was thinking
I think that's
about
the new
that.
age.
I was thinking that is interesting.
No, it's part of it because you're protecting your life by wearing a condom.
Yeah. See, when people have
his
sex,
kink is being outside, and maybe even the kink might be being caught.
No, guys. I think we've got this all wrong here. Hey,
I
Pony,
do too.
when people
I think it
have
might be-
sex
Rob,
with
I think it might
prostitutes,
be
they wear
the-
condoms, right?
Oh, that's right.
Like,
prostitute.
everybody wears condoms all the time. I know you probably don't have this issue.
Well, wait a minute. You live in the neighborhood, and hey, we should point out that there is a gentleman's club across the street in this neighborhood.
Yes.
Have you lived in Glover Park? I have to.
Yeah.
Is it Glover or Glover?
If I'm being honest, it's Glover Park. I call it Glover Park.
Okay, so I've been copying you with this mistake.
good
'cause it's
answer.
The
Glover
majority
Park.
of people say Glover Park. All the hipsters are like, it's Glover. You know what? F you.
It is Glover. It's like Danny Glover.
That's
it's
right.
like Danny Glover Park, right?
And that's where we get the word glove, which is another word for condom.
I'm just gonna say Georgetown.
But you lived in the neighborhood right there for a long time. Was there ever a in your late night travels? Because you'd hang out at the
Oh,
water.
I'd get hammered.
Did you ever see any evidence of? I know there's a gentleman's club there. Did you ever see any evidence of ladies of the evening, streetwalkers in the vicinity?
No, none of that. The only nefarious activity I've ever seen and ever really heard of in this area is there was a criminal element that really terrorized the city for, I want to say this part of the city for 3 years, and this is 5 years ago.
Like muggings.
No, there was a guy that would break into females' homes and he would snuggle with them and then leave.
I remember that guy.
Yeah.
I remember that
the
story.
Glover Park snuggler.
Yes.
GPS.
Jeez, that's not a good time to tell me this. I just got done watching Mindhunter. That is scary.
So he would wake up, and this is the worst part. I still lived in the city, and when they released
so to speak,
the description of this gentleman, Latin, 5'10", no facial hair. Like at that point, early 30s.
So you immediately grew a beard?
And I remember sitting there and I was like, and my girlfriend at the time was like, they're talking about you.
Yeah.
And I said, no, I'm not breaking in people's houses and snuggling with them.
Let me tell you my theory about what's going on.
Good.
I think that my only opinion, because I'm not there nearly as much as you boys are every single day. Okay, I come in occasionally, once every 3 years, just to say hi, see how everything's running. And all I know is, even in the limited time I've been there, when I've been outside having a tea at the Starbucks, I've seen multiple examples of a person just walking down the street going,
Yeah, mental illness.
There seems to be an element around our building that
It's colorful, Mike.
Yeah, but would the
it's the free
mentally ill?
Wi-Fi. It's the free Wi-Fi.
Sure, they have laptops. They have laptops and mental illness.
Big Mama
That's what they have.
Why would a mentally ill person be so consistent in safe sex, though?
Because, Rob, you said it, didn't you? Didn't you say
Life
the self-preservation?
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
I think that is probably something that supersedes all the other behavior. Look, and there's a convenience aspect to it if you don't have a home, and you're that, as opposed to doing it in like a public housing area where like a shelter or something. You probably would be. That could be the option too. Where are the cameras?
Well, again, I don't think this is neither
Has
of those.
no one fought this?
But guys,
No one fought that.
guys, if you're homeless, you're not buying Magnum condoms. You're getting free condoms from the shelter. Like, you're not going and buying a 3-pack for $10 or whatever they are.
Yeah.
I think this is a member of the DCPD SWAT team that's using his battering ram on that ramp whenever he wants, or some horny teenager that is just can't get his own room because he lives with his parents and they're doing something crazy out there.
I think it is someone who is a person of the street who is doing this out of convenience that has a strong self-preservation aspect.
Let's get a coffee afterwards.
I think it's Nancy Pelosi.
Okay, there we are. There we are.
Of all
right.
people!
That's wonderful.
Oh, my God.
From American Public Media.
Yes, things are moving along at the Mike O'Mara Show app. Here's the latest news. Everybody's busy since the new update. Rob and Joe are baking their delicious homemade comedy biscuits. Oscar and Todd are out back behind the Tesla shucking corn and talking tech. Rob and Katie just finished whitewashing a fence in front of the Cake and Cookies broadcast shed. Gary Stein just sold a t-shirt, and Tony Perkins at his mercantile store is doing gangbusters. And Marcus Serta is making sweet love to Steve Mermelstein in the Omericast Sex Dungeon. Yes, it's all well at the app, especially with the new TMOS Live feature. Now you can stream the show live as it happens, and there's a classic TMOS at your fingertips 24/7. Make sure you download or update today. That's the news from the TMOS app, where everyone's phone is just a little bit smarter.
The best of O'Mara.
News.
Oh, that's loud.
Boo. All right, let's talk about it. I'm not a personal friend. I'm a fan, but it was kind of a gut shot for me. Alex Trebek was just diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. He's 78 years old. He posted a video. Either of you guys see the video that he posted yesterday? What a brave dude. Just to handle it that way. It's hard. It's the most devastating thing you can get.
Yeah, just a terrible rate. Killed a friend
Mortality
of mine,
rate.
a young man in his 40s, one of my best friends back in the day. And that's the first time ever as a young adult that as a young man, I was not really a young adult. I was, I was in my 40s. And it was one of the first times I ever had to go to a wake and see a contemporary because of pancreatic cancer. It's such a drag. Normally, as he said, the prognosis for this is not very encouraging, but Alex says, I'm going to fight this. I'm going to keep working. And with the love and support of my family and friends and with the help of your prayers, also, I plan to beat the low survival rate statistics for this disease. So, yes, he will continue to host Jeopardy, at least for now. He's getting chemo. He has a fantastic sense of humor. This is his joke at the end. Truth be told, I have to beat it because under the terms of my contract, I have to host Jeopardy for 3 more years. So help me keep the faith and we will win. I was just... You can't not be blown away by the balls of Alex Trebek and what he's having. You forget how old he is. He is 78 years old because he's a youthful guy, and you just don't realize it. And, for whatever reason, I don't want to take any blame for this. I've been talking about Jeopardy again and again and how I'm just committed
You were mad
to
at
it.
it last week.
I was mad at it for their Tournament of Champions. Last night was back to normal. Yay! It was great. By the way, look, I don't like to brag, okay? I really don't like to brag, but I got the winning answer in Final Jeopardy, and none of the principals did. All right,
what was it?
The champion. Oh God! Oh no! Let me think.
Emily?
Oh God! Oh,
Latina woman.
Oh, I wish I remembered it. Oh, now I was there and I got it, and I high-fived my wife because I got it, but I'm trying to think. Oh no!
It's okay.
It was a mechanical term that was also used. Oh, now I gotta get
in a blender.
it. Now I forgot it. But he's a brave guy, and
you want to call Carla?
Carla is she won't remember it. I guarantee you.
Oh, she probably will. I think you get benefit of the doubt.
All right, I don't know. She's working out with her mom.
Rolfo's also looking for the.
Let me see what happens. Can you hear me, Carla?
A death station.
Hey, do you remember what the final answer in Jeopardy was last night? What was it about? Do you remember what it was about?
Oh gosh.
It was some term. It was like a mechanical term that was also used. Backlash.
See, she knew.
Backlash. Yeah, I got backlash. And God bless you. Thank you, Carla. Big win. Thank you. Love you. Bye, sweetie. Say hi to Rofo. Oh, she's gone. I'm sorry. That was not directed at you, Rofo.
Story is life.
So, yeah, Backlash was the winning answer on Jeopardy last night, and I was very, very excited about it. It was very, very cool. So, Alex Trebek, good luck. Wouldn't that be great if he could, even at his advanced age, Yeah, and if he doesn't, full life, wonderful life. And I yelled at a couple of listeners on the fan page that were saying, what is...
no bad shtick.
Yeah, what is death sentence? I'm sorry, man. No, I make jokes about death all the time. Funniest joke I ever made about death was my mother going to the assisted living facility, where we were driving in a car with a full load of people, and I thought that was funny. And we said, by the way, stage 1, you go to your house in your assisted living. You have a car. You can go to the city if you want. Stage 2, somebody needs to help you. They come in and they can help you with, day-to-day tasks and maybe getting dressed and that side. Stage 3, there's a full-time nursing facility. And at that moment, my sister was driving by this cemetery with my mother and my children in the car, and she pointed to the cemetery and said, and that would be stage 4. But anyway, there is a time and a place, and it just rubbed me the wrong way to see people being flip about this just because he's the host and ha, what is death sentence? Ha, not funny. I didn't dig it. And I called him out on it. So there you have it. Lucille Ball. This is a particular story where it would be a good idea to have Rob Spiewak here today because he would love this. She died in 1989. That's 30 years ago, from a rupture of the aorta, but she may have been dealing with heart issues for years before that. There's a show on the Reels channel called Autopsy, The Last Hours of. God, what are you going to do? I'm going to go home, watch Dr. Pimple Popper, and then I'm going to watch Autopsy, The Last Hours of. Yeah. And then I'm going to go to sleep by lifting the rock up and sliding underneath it. That's what I'm going to do. Anyway, this week they're investigating Lucille Ball's death. A forensic pathologist, his name is Michael Hunter. He says that as early as 1984, Lucy was using a drug called amyl nitrate, more commonly referred to as poppers. Poppers are liquid inhalants that give you an intense buzz. They actually became popular as an aid to gay sex, but Dr. Hunter says that originally amyl nitrate was, quote, a prescription drug to treat pains in the chest.
Ooh.
So Lucille Ball was doing poppers. Do you know, early in my career, this is how old I am?
Yeah.
I did an impression, like on the Arch Campbell show, I did an impression of Lucille Ball.
Oh, really?
You know, yeah, where I'd come out dressed in a drag.
Really?
I love drag. Yeah, I love drag. I'd be great down in New Orleans. Just put me in a drag show and I come out and go, hi, I'm Lucille Ball. It was like early on. I think I probably did it on the old Primetime Video Zoo with Don and Mike. I did that too. Not proud of any of that, but that's
well, but you were playing character, right?
Yes, thank you.
There you go.
Moving right along, ladies and gentlemen. Boston Celtics star Kyrie Irving. Boy, is he popular with my family up in Boston. They love this guy. Well, he has been whining about how he doesn't want to be a celebrity, and he hates how the cameras are always on him. You know what? Since we're bringing this up, this is a Charles Barkley story, because Charles Barkley was talking about him whining. He may be number one on my hit parade as far as getting somebody on the show.
Oh,
it was hey,
another
it was
name.
it was his coworker Shaq that I wanted for a while. Now I want Charles Barkley.
If you get Charles Barkley, Rob, just sidebar.
Yeah.
And you're not working on the show anymore.
Yes.
You march in here. You march in here, and you give that guy a day off, and you run that show.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
1,000%. Thank you.
Nice.
Really had to twist my arm on that. No.
I feel like I walked into
Charles
something.
Barkley. No, you're fine. I love that. Charles Barkley brings me so much joy. So this guy, the Celtic, Kyrie Irving, superstar, bitching about how he hates the camera always being on him. Charles Barkley's not having it. He was on ESPN's Get Up yesterday, and he said, quote, I don't know him that well. He seems like a good kid, but I've never seen a person so miserable. To have so much success, to have the world in the palm of his hand, he's got to be one of the most miserable people I've ever seen. And then he goes on, Sir Charles, what a lot of these guys don't understand is when you're a star, you get all the credit, but you get all the blame. That's just how it is. Now, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver seemed to defend Kyrie's recent comments by saying, quote, we are living in a time of anxiety. I think part of it is a direct product of social media. I get that. I think those players, they're truly unhappy. They're not unhappy if no, I'm not going to pile on Charles's comments. I'm going to let Charles do it, okay? Charles took issue with that quote. He said, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard any commissioner say. Charles Barkley tells it like it is. These guys, Charles Barkley, I'll do my Charles impression.
Please.
These guys are making $20, $30, $40 million a year. They work 6-7 months a year. We stay at the best hotels in the world. They ain't got no problems. That's total bogus. I love Charles Barkley. He's right. He's right. Look, social media sucks for everybody who's got any level of fame whatsoever, because there's so many flippin' cowards out there that want to tell you, their worst comment and make it right there so everybody can see it. But that's true. You look the other way because you're making $60 million a year. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but Jesus,
so,
give me a break.
Our friend, Dominic Foxworth, he's a panelist on Get Up on Wednesday mornings.
I've never seen anybody so miserable.
So, what's also fast, and I mentioned that because we've had this conversation off air. Just these contracts are so massive. What we don't realize, Mike, is that most of these guys that have these dollars, they're still kids. They're still kids. So what the league could do, whether it's NBA or NFL, is work a little harder to really get these players ready for this type of positive and negative. Where
I was in my mid to late 20s when I got famous on a radio show. And I remember going down, and a couple of times there was being at a bar or a nightclub or something like that, and not wanting to wait in line, and thinking that and later on I reflected back on that dickishness and said, this is about everybody. Who's the who do I want to talk about that's doing that? Oh, George Bush Sr., H.W. Bush. That, not only did he try to beat everybody's brains out, but it was his absolute number one priority not to show people up. It's the same thing with being famous.
You can't do it. It comes with the territory that people are going to take shots at you on social media and everywhere else for that matter. And because you have attained this level of fame because of your talent and your success, you can't bitch about it. It's not good form. Then, by the way,
unless it's a talk show.
Yeah, well, a talk show.
I mean, we gotta bitch.
Yeah.
Well, no, we bitch.
Yes.
We bitch, but we bitch to be. I bitch by design to be comedically sound, to make people laugh. What I'm talking about is the bad form. And by the way, we live in an era of bad form. There's bad form everywhere. There's bad form and there's no accountability. We live in that world. I don't know if we'll always live in that world. Go back and watch. All you have to do, pop one of those Jane Austen movies on and watch the way people communicated problems back in the day. You will look at it and go, the idiots will look at it and go, oh my God, how ridiculous is that? But if you are really looking at the way people accounted for other people's feelings, which is non-existent now, you'll see a different time. But with that said, we do live in 2019. I agree with Sir Charles.
Yes.
Just go home and count your money. Drive your Ferrari around and have a perfectly good time, And by the way, try to behave yourself because people are looking up to you because you're a celebrity.
Want more? Make sure you check out the Mike O'Mara Bonus Show. Get it at MikeO'MaraShow.com.
Mike O'Mara, Radio Entertainment.